It's party time, my golf story, brought to you by Party Drinks. Classically designed golf drinks for golfers by golfers. And the golf real estate pros Gene Walsh and Vince Visicaro. For your Southwest Florida real estate needs, check them out at suncoastdreams.com. Now here's your host, Kevin Walsh.
Hey, welcome to the program. We got a good one for you today. Well, first of all, let me timestamp it for you. It's Monday, April the 8th that we're recording. It's Masters Week. And our next guest played in the Masters in 2018. How he got there, what he saw, who he played golf with in different practice rounds is just the stuff of legend. And his backstory, it's Matt Parziale. By the way, former Brockton firefighter, one of the most decorated amateur golfers in Massachusetts history, and an all-around great guy. He's going to join us to talk about that. A couple business announcements. I always update everybody on what's going on. I always ask for you to like the podcast and subscribe to it. We have 100,000 plus views already, about 3,300 subscribers. How that happened? I got a general idea. I think what it is more than anything, and the difference with our golf podcast is we've created a real community where people come on. They may not be the big names, but they give it up. They talk about how much golf means to them. It's almost like a confessional, and we thank them for that, and we thank you for your support. And we also thank some of our sponsors. First of all, our title sponsor, Party Drinks. If you're looking for a drink alternative that's better than High Noon. I mean, at some point, we got to stop pretending that High Noon tastes good. Party is a drink for golfers, by golfers, and for a list of the different places where you can find it on Florida Suncoast and also in New England, we'll have those scrolling across the bottom and we'll take a break. And also a big thanks to the real estate golf pros, Gene Walsh and Vince Visicaro, suncoastdreams.com. If your dream is to live on a golf course in the Florida area, nobody better than them. And let me preview something. Next week, the week of April 18th through the 21st, the Lecom Suncoast Classic. The Corn Ferry Tour is in town here where we record from Lakewood National Golf Club. So if you want to really see some incredible golf, have great access, and see why Lakewood National Golf Club is the best golf community in America, then come to the Suncoast Golf Classic. April 18th through the 21st. All right. So that's it with the housekeeping stuff. I want to bring Matt Parziale on board here. Matt, it's been a couple years since we last talked. I think the last time you had just come back from playing in the Masters, we went to your home club at Thornley. It was a cold day. We went out and played a couple of holes. You were a great sport. But hey, man, it's great to see you. Look a little different with the hair. What's going on? Can you give me a little background on what happened?
Yeah, I needed a haircut during COVID, and it just kept getting shorter. So we ended up with a pretty shaved head and just did it. So this is a pretty clean look for how it looks after a shave.
Looking good there, man. And
Thanks, man.
I trust your golf game is good. Not that the weather's real great this time of year in Massachusetts, but what is the state of your game?
Yeah, the two previous winters I took completely off. I had some injuries. I just had a new job I was working at, so I didn't play at all from, call it November to I got going in March. But this year I decided to add some tournaments, play more, and I'm glad I did. It's been a fun winter. I feel like I've worked on a lot of parts of my game that maybe I hadn't touched on and got into better shape. So I'm excited for this year, and it's been a fun process for the last few months, and I'm excited that I did put the time in this winter. So I'm happy to get out there and start competing.
I don't know about you, but I can kind of guess that for me, Masters Week just marks the beginning of golf. It just makes me fall in love with golf all over again, everything about it. I just listened to a 5-part series on the Golfers Journal, which was put together with Tom Coyne, great golf writer, one of my friends from the Philadelphia area. And I'm just like, I mean, it's so nerdy with the detail and just like what Augusta National was and the struggles that it had years ago. But now when we watch the Masters, everything is perfect. Everything about it. Take me back to 2018 and the first time that you set foot on the grounds of Augusta National and what that was like.
Yeah, so I actually got to go a little bit earlier. So I went in November of 17. They reached out after I had won and said, "Hey, you can come down a few times before, see the course." So my best friend and I went for the day. He was living in Indiana, still lives in Indiana, and it was pretty cool. We didn't really know what to expect. We were kind of walking on eggshells, but everyone was so kind and made you feel welcome very quickly. And we spent the day, played 18 in the morning, had some lunch, practice, and then went out for maybe 9 more and then got out of there. So that was the first time. It was a day I'll never forget. But then you fast forward to Masters Week, and then that's a whole different situation where that's when everyone's out there. You get the crowds for the first time. So I played it, call it 10 times before, but this was the first time with crowds, and now it's a whole different look. So that was a lot for me to get used to. I had some nice practice rounds where people were very excited to see the people I was playing with. So I had a good taste of the crowds even before Thursday started.
I'm going to get into the people that you played with because that's cool.
Why I didn't want to spoil it. I didn't know what you were going to say.
Oh man, see you
leave it out. Yeah.
You good for you, man. You understand broadcasting. You've done enough. You were so prepared. Like when it was time to get in the studio and everything. What's that? What are you drinking there?
Just water. Yeah,
just water. Okay, yeah. We'll get you some party if you want that. If you want to mix it up a little bit. But so you mentioned the first time that you played at Augusta National was after you won the U.S. Mid-Am in 2017. So that was in the fall of 2017. So you went there and played. But then 2018 was when you were playing, and part of winning the mid-amateur, you get an invite to Augusta National. So who was your first practice round with at Augusta National in 2018?
So on Sunday, it wasn't an official practice round day, but I played with Schwartzel, Oosthuizen, and Perez. I had a really cool match with those guys. And then Matt Rollins was also in the group because Perez left after 9, and Matt was actually there for all 18. And it was Matt and I versus Louis and Schwartzel for the back 9. And it came down to the last hole, and Matt and I came up one short, but it was a really, really fun time. And then when the official practice round started, that was Monday, I had a pairing with Rory and Wesley Bryan, played 18 holes with those guys. It was a great experience. They were helping me along the way. Rory was telling stories about his past Masters. So just really cool stuff to be a part of. He was helping me with things to do on certain holes. And so I feel like I got a lot of good knowledge from him, and I was felt pretty prepared after that round.
And then you play with the big cat and Freddie. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to play 9 holes with Freddie and Tiger on Wednesday, and Tiger was so kind. He actually reached out just after I'd won the U.S. Mid-Am and just said congratulations, and he was looking forward to seeing me at the majors the next year. So I was fortunate enough to meet him later that winter, just saying thank you for the letter. And then he said, "Hey, we'll play a practice round." And it came up with his caddy, Joey. He set it up, and we were able to play on Wednesday. And it was such a cool experience. I mean, from the first hole, same as Roy, he was helping me along the way, telling me things he did his first time, talking about what to do if the wind's coming from a certain direction. So, yeah, those are 9 holes I'll never forget. And it was the crowds I got to play in front of that day were bigger than any crowd I'd ever played in my life. So it was a good taste of what would come the next day. But the next morning, the crowds weren't quite as big. But there was some people out there watching.
Matt Parziale is our guest here on It's Party Time, My Golf Story, brought to you by Party Drinks and also the Golf Real Estate Pros, Gene Walsh and Vince Visicaro from SuncoastDreams.com. So I want to dive a little bit deeper into playing with Tiger because he was interested. He knew your backstory. Your story's been told around New England, being a former firefighter, and he was curious about that. How did that make you feel knowing that he wanted to know a personal side of you?
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, my dad was caddying for me, and at the time we were both firefighters in Brockton, and actually we were on the 6T, and someone in the gallery had a medical issue, and my dad and I just went over and checked him out. Just did nothing, but just to see like if he was okay. So walking off the tee there, Tiger said something along it's like, "Oh, like why'd you guys do that?" And it's kind of just the nature of what we always did. You see someone in trouble, and you want to just make sure that they're okay. So he had a lot of interest in that, and we told some stories about how we got to fight a fire together and those sorts of things. So it was a really cool. I mean, obviously it was a really cool time, but no, it was special and something I'll never forget.
That's really cool because your training kicks in at that point, and you're talking about your dad, Vic, 32-year firefighter, captain for the Brockton Fire Department, and at one time you were kind of like going in and out of character. You're fighting fires at night or daytime, trying to squeeze golf in. What was that like?
Yeah, that was a crazy time, but I mean, you look back, probably the best time of my life. Yeah, it was just the reason I wanted to be a firefighter. Obviously, my dad and I grew up with that, but my dad was able to go to my games growing up, and I saw it as a career where I could figure out a schedule to play as much tournament golf as I possibly could. And like, that's just what I've always wanted to do. That's never changed. And it was something that I thought would work for me. So I was lucky enough to get on the fire department. I mean, had a wonderful 5 years with them. And then other things come up and things change. I had some other opportunities, and I think I made the right decision there too. So yeah, it's been a fun ride. And that's yeah.
I had a good time. I had a good time going to your to the firehouse because I look at you as a big deal. I think you're a big deal. I don't know that you look at yourself as a big deal, but I'll tell you, the guys at the firehouse, they knew you were a big deal, but they weren't going to let you have the satisfaction. They told me about when you're a young guy, you got to earn, you got to pay your dues, and you're going to do the little things like you're going to scrub toilets and floors, everything like that. What was that experience like when you first got on board?
Yeah, that's the problem. It never changed for me because I was always the young guy in my group. So I never actually became the senior guy. So I left a little too early, but I wouldn't have it any other way. That's how you earn the respect. That's how you become part of the group. And that was my life, and I loved it. And I was going to do whatever I could to give myself the best opportunity to have a great career. And those guys are incredible. And I'll never forget those days and how much we trained together. And then you're able to go do it in real life. It's just, it was awesome stuff.
Matt, let's go back to the beginning. Tell me what life was like growing up, and tell me about your street. Tell me about your neighborhood growing up in Brockton. And for those that don't know the sports history, the City of Champions, why don't you tell it?
Yeah, Brockton, we have two famous boxers, and Marvin Hagler was one of them, and he actually lived on the street that I grew up on, not when I was there. He lived there before we had moved to the neighborhood. But yeah, we had a street that was probably, I don't know, 6 kids on it, all around the same age, and then probably another 10 or 12 throughout the neighborhood. It was 3 or 4 streets there, and then combine another one. And we were all pretty close. There was a lot of hockey games in the street, baseball games. We were just outside all the time. A lot of fun. So, yeah, that was right over on the west side of Brockton.
When did golf enter the picture? Take me back to the beginning of that. What's your first memory of having a golf club in your hand and how it got there?
So the first picture of me, I do not remember. That was at Brockton Country Club where my dad was a member. I mean, I had to be like 2 or 3. But the first memory I have of golf is hitting balls at the fairground, Brockton Fairground, with my dad and grandfather. We used to go up there in the summer. I mean, my grandfather passed away when I was 8, so it must have been. I remember doing it for a few summers, so call it 4, 5, or 6 when we started, and then my dad and I started playing on the golf course at DW, and then a couple courses down the Cape, Bayberry and Bass River, because we used to spend the summers down the Cape at Bourne Scenic Park. So my other grandfather lived in Falmouth, and we could do the membership through that, and we used to run down there in the afternoon. So that's really how I started, and I've loved it since the beginning, and that's never changed.
When did you know you were good?
I still don't know I'm good. So,
Oh, come on. No. I mean, when did you know, like, I might be pretty good at this, or somebody gave you validation like this kid's good?
You know what? That wasn't it. It was I've always just wanted to get better and compete, and like I still think there's so much room to grow. So I've never had that realization. Don't get me wrong. I know that I've had great results, but I just think that there's so much room for me to improve, and that's never changed since I picked up a club. So I think if that ever does change, I'll probably stop playing, but I don't ever see that happening. So I understand that I've had results, but I just think that I don't think I've ever had the realization that I've got to where I think I can get to.
Well, look at Tiger Woods. I mean, he completely redid his swing after arguably the greatest year ever. And somebody said, "Why did you do that?" And he said, "I think I can get better." So I'm with you on that. The day you stop tinkering is probably the day you got to stop playing golf.
Yeah.
What's the lowest round you ever shot? I don't care if it's in competition or and I'm going to get to the state amateur between you and Michael Thorbjornsen and everything, because I think that is one of the most underreported, incredible matches ever. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself, but take me back. What's your lowest round ever? Take me there.
Well, I wish my lowest round was against Michael that day, because that was what it would have had to have been to beat him. But it's 9 under. I've done it a couple times. Once in competition, and then maybe a few times in just recreational golf kind of thing. So, yeah.
How about other barriers? Do you remember the first time you broke 80?
I don't remember the first time I broke 80. No.
What about 70? Because that's kind of like where you're entering a different realm. How old were you?
I think it was just before college. I didn't have that good of a junior career. I didn't play that well. Yeah, no, I wasn't that good. Didn't really have many looks for schools to go to. I wanted to go to them, and I thought I thought that I could be better. I struggled. I mean, I think once I got to college down in Florida and I was able to play for a full winter, playing some events. That's when I really started to improve. So that's when I look at the time that I actually was starting to shoot under par. So I think it was probably just before I went into my maybe it was my junior year. I was 16,
but still,
17, 18. Yeah,
that's kind of late for an elite.
Oh no, exactly. I wasn't shooting under par consistently when I got to college. I really improved throughout my college years.
Let's talk about that. Where did you go, and why did you choose to go to? You went to Southeastern, right?
Yes, it was Southeastern University in Lakeland, Florida. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Why there, and what was that experience like?
Yeah, it was a school that was not an NCAA school. I didn't have many looks. I had a look at Lynn University. I was almost going to go there, but I saw Southeastern as a place that I could play tournament golf from the start. The team is actually pretty good. They were doing well in their conference, which is not a conference that we're in anymore. They moved up pretty well. They're into the NAIA, which that happened in the transition while I was there. So it was pretty cool to be a part of that transition. But the team I kind of grew with the team. Like, we had a coach, he was only there my 4 years, and it was just a really cool environment. And I was able to compete and work on my game. And I just loved working at it. So I was able to do that there. So I think it was a good fit for me.
You guys won a national championship, didn't you?
Yeah. So it's funny. It was like I was saying, there's 2 divisions. We won that one division every single year, but my junior year, we were in that NAIA division. Well, we always played with them, but so like we were the Division II team that won the whole tournament of the Division I team. So that was like kind of a cool thing. And that was the first time that ever happened. And I actually was able to win that tournament. So that was a pretty big one in my college career.
So after college, you chased it. And we talked a lot of there's amateur golf and then there's professional golf. What went into the decision to turn pro and how did it go?
Yeah, so it was always my plan to turn pro. I didn't care what I was what I was shooting. That was something I always wanted to do. And so I had a really nice summer, that 2009 summer. Had some good momentum. I went down, started playing on the e-golf tour, and then went to Q school, started the Hooters tour, chased the Mondays, did the whole thing, had a great time, did it for 3 years, had a little bit of an injury with my knee. I had to take some time off, and I think just started thinking about it a little more of where I wanted my life to go. And at the time, I didn't think golf was the right way to do that. So that's why I only gave it 3 years. But I mean, unbelievable time in my life. It was just so much fun. We're going around the country with the relationships you have. Like I haven't seen these guys in years, and you see them, and it's like you pick up right where you left off. So
right, yeah, it's like firefighters, it's like cops, it's like immediately because you're on the same page, right? Like you can tell stories, and you don't even have to color in all the figures and they know what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you love about golf aside from the competition? Is the camaraderie? This is our thing.
Yeah, it's weird. You look at golf and like golf is always trying to help your competitors. It's like a community of like, you don't want to see someone else struggling. So, I mean, I'm sure if the Patriots are playing someone and the other team's having a bad day, they're not trying to help them figure it out. And that's that's how golf is. So it's it's competitive as we all are. There's still that aspect of it. So it's pretty interesting.
Do you have a welcome to pro golf moment where you saw, maybe it's a name that we know, where somebody hit a shot and you're like, oh boy, this is a whole different level?
When I was playing in the majors and stuff?
Yeah, just wherever, where you're like, holy smokes, I don't have that shot.
Yeah, there's only one shot I've ever seen that, and that was we were at Walker Cup practice at Seminole. And my caddy at we play the Coleman at Seminole every year. It's a mid-amateur event. And so I have the same caddy every year, and he was caddying for me that day. And he's a really good player. Was pretty much on I believe he was like Corn Ferry and doing the whole thing and stopped playing, but he gets it. So it was with Matt Wolf, and this was in 2018 in the winter. And he hit a 4-iron that, I mean, you can't even explain it. So that's the only shot. And that was, at the time he was an amateur, but it was absolutely incredible.
We talked about your dad, Vic, and we know some people that know him. He works in the bag room at Bonita Springs, living the good retired life in Florida, like a lot of other people.
Yep. Yeah. He's got a good little job. It's a course right next to his community. It seems like he's having a blast down there. Unfortunately, I haven't got down there enough to see him, but hopefully we're going to make that change in the next couple of winters.
Tell me about your relationship. He caddies for you sometimes. We've had past guests on, Kevin Roy, who plays the Corn Ferry Tour. He played the PGA Tour last year. His father, Jim, who was also a guest on our program. Dad caddies for son every now and then, works for them. The picture of you with your dad where you're hugging after you won the 2017 mid-amateur, it's on your wall behind you, isn't it? Where you're embracing. That is one of the best pictures I've ever seen. What's that relationship like when you're in competition and he's looping for you?
Yeah, I mean, he's just done it for so long. It's pretty natural, but it's not like it's. I feel like he's into the competition just as much as I am, which is why it works. I mean, it's not always fun. I'm sure there's times where we're irritated with each other. I know that I am, and I'm sure he is with me, but I feel like it's always professional, and then that's why it works for us. And that's why we have a nice time doing it. And then we've had success, and it's been fun to be a part of that with him. So no, I wouldn't change it for the world. It's been a really nice addition to my competitive golf, and there's no one I'd rather have doing it.
Yeah, that's cool. What's his game like?
He's pretty good. He just feel like he's probably like a 6 or a 7, but I feel like he could just be a little bit better than he normally. He just kind of fights it a little bit, but he has the ability. He just doesn't really let it come out. Is how I would sum up his game. But he hit some crazy good shots from out of nowhere. So he can do all this stuff.
Like when you guys are playing and you're having a match, is there trash talking going on? Take me. I want to know.
No. We don't. No. It's like I'm not a trash talker at all. Like that's just not my personality. I just want to go compete and have a nice time. Like I don't mind if people do it, but I usually don't do it back unless it's like I don't know. It's just it happens rarely, I would say.
It's not in your personality. Unlike the DeMarcos, Christian and Chris DeMarco, they're going at it all the time. And I didn't know that until Christian told me that. So you're in the insurance business. How's that going? And how does golf help with that? I've talked to other business people and they talk, and I've seen it. Golf is an integral part of what they do. Tell me your story.
Yeah, so this is the opportunity that came up after the Mid-Am. I met some people, and it's an industry that makes sense for golf. I'm in the sales side of it, where business development, I guess you'd say, for DeLay & Gibson. We're in Wellesley, Massachusetts. I've been with them it'll be 3 years at the end of this year, so just over 2 years. I started with another company before that, did 3 years with them. Learn the industry, but it's going great. I'm happy with the switch, and it fits into golf because for the schedule for number one was key to me, and my life now is competitive golf and work, and those intertwine. Like I meet so many friends and relationships who want to help you with your business and introduce you to people, and you get to play golf with new people and meet and meet your clients on the course, and it's just a really nice community, and it just fits into my life in a way that works.
I'll never forget when I was 14 years old, and I was a pretty good player at that point. I was scratch at that point, but I used to caddy for these insurance guys, and they respected me for my golf and probably treated me like I was a man before I really was a man, with the language and everything. So maybe I got a little too comfortable. But this one time I just said, "Don't you guys have effing offices?" And they're like, "Kid, are you not paying attention? This is the office."
Yeah.
I just closed the deal on the first tee. I'm going to close another one at lunch. And I'm like, I never forgot that. And just the value of good golf. Hey, speaking of good golf, I want to ask you about the 2021 Mass State Amateur, your match against Michael Thorbjornsen. 10 birdies and an eagle, and you lost on the 30th hole. How the hell does that happen?
Yeah, he was incredible that day. He's got so much game. I'm happy with the way I played. It was, it's a tough way to go down, and I went down. I feel like I could have came back at any time. That's how good I felt that day. I wasn't like struggling with it. I wasn't fighting it. I was on it, and that's all you can ask for. And he was at another level, and it was an incredible match to be a part of.
Speaking of being at another level, 18 birdies in 30 holes, and you had 10 birdies and an eagle. That's the stuff of legend. I didn't
know those numbers. That's crazy. I didn't know that.
I went back and I watched the videos. Mass Golf does a great job with that stuff, like chronicling it. And I saw a couple swings, and holy smokes, that was something else. But you kind of gave somebody, like when you won the mid-amateur in 2017, you had the birdie machine going, didn't you?
That's funny you say that. Josh Nichols, I remember seeing a tweet just after the mid-am. It was just as you're explaining it, and Josh had a comment under it. He goes, "Hey, I've been on the other side of that. Like, don't worry about Matt." And it was a funny thing that he said. So, I was fortunate that day. I had very close matches that whole week until my semifinals and then the finals. But the round of 8, I was 5 down. I won extra holes. I feel like all my matches were either 1 up or going extra holes. So I had momentum from being in tough matches, and then I got really hot in the semis and carried that into the next day. And I was able to go out and I forget how many birdies I made in the morning. People say I shot 63, but match play, I don't know. And then I continued that in the afternoon, and I ended up winning 8 and 6.
I think that's about right, because I remember when you won and then we met, because I was doing the background research leading up to you playing in the Masters. It was a phenomenal number, like how many under par you were. Match play, it doesn't really matter the score. It's all about winning the holes. But still, just for like, I still think in terms of under par, you were way under par in the 2017 Mid Amateur, and the same with you and Michael Thorbjornsen in the 2021 Mass Amateur. Incredible stuff. Hey, look, I'm a sucker for love stories. I know your wife is a big part of your life, very supportive of your golf, and maybe golf was like a ticket to meeting her. Do I have it right?
No, I met her when she was in Boston. She was in Boston for dental school, and this was my year of. I just got my amateur status back, and I was going to get out of the fire department that fall. And this was just at the end of the summer when we met, just at a place in Boston.
Did you guys not like play golf or go to a golf tournament?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh no. So yeah. So the first time we went, so the night I met her, she mentioned that she liked golf, and then she didn't believe me that I played golf. So like, oh, let's go play golf. We went to Fresh Pond and played golf. So I'm sorry. I thought you meant the first time I met her, but yes, our first date was, we went to Fresh Pond, played 9 holes. She realized I knew what I was doing. And we had a great time. And then we went to dinner in Cambridge. So, yeah, it's been great ever since. She's the hardest worker I know. She owns her own business right now, and it hasn't been easy, and she just keeps going forward. So we're starting to get into a better place with that. So it's been fun, and I think there's a lot of good to come.
Matt, tell me, Matt Parziale is our guest here on It's Party Time, My Golf Story. What's next for you? Will you ever play pro golf again? Do you have eyes on the Champions Tour in any way, or maybe giving it another run?
I feel like I'm just in a really good place with my career, my marriage, my friendships, and golf as well. So, I love the schedule I have. I would never say no to the PGA Tour or professional golf that made sense, but I'm also not going to disrupt my life to chase something that, not that I don't think I could do it, just more of like, does it make sense for what you have to put in? So that's kind of where I've always stood. That's the reason I stopped when I was 25 or whatever it was, and that hasn't changed, but the desire to compete at the highest level hasn't changed either. So there's always different routes, and I'm just going to keep working at it and see what comes my way.
What would life be like, your life, if golf were not in it?
I mean, I wouldn't even know. That doesn't make sense. So I wouldn't even know what to say with that. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's me too. Because everything I have in my life, there's a golf connection. So if we took golf out of the equation, I don't know what I got. Are you the same way?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So I have no answer. Sorry.
Not a problem. Here's a question for you. When are you going to get it over with and move to Florida like everybody else?
Yesterday, I wish. I'm full on the desire to do that. We just have some responsibilities here, but I would love to make it happen. The winters beat me up now, so you never know.
Well, there's plenty of space for you. If we got the realtor for you, your wife's a dentist. It's a growing community. Her practice could thrive here too. I could use a good dentist. My teeth are good. I want to keep them good. All right. So we got to get you down, but on your timetable. All right, brother. Yeah. I mean, there's a place for you on the Sun Coast for sure. Hey, Matt, listen, I really appreciate your time. I wish you great success moving forward, and come on down, visit the old man, and maybe we'll play some golf in Bonita Springs along with Andrew McCabe, who I'm going to add to the stage. He's a member, right? He's been listening. This is our producer. He knows your dad from the bag room right there. We'll all get involved. How's that sound?
The best. Your dad is awesome.
Oh, thanks, man. He's been, he loves the game just as much as we all do. And I'm glad he's enjoying it down there. He figured it out. He's down there, but hopefully I'll be down there soon, like you said. So,
okay, we'll figure it out like the old man. And then we can we got the foursome. We're all set. All right.
Perfect.
Let's call it a night, guys. Thank you again, Matt. Follow Matt on at Matt Parziale on Instagram. Big thanks to Andrew McCabe and Party Drinks for being the title sponsor. And again, your real estate pros are Vince Fizzicaro and Gene Walsh. Lecomb Suncoast Classic coming to Lakewood National Golf Club the week of April 18th through the 21st. Check out the real estate, check out the golf, and everything else. All right. For Matt Parziale and Andrew McCabe, I'm Kevin Walsh. We'll see you again next time on It's Party Time, my golf story.
Awesome.
You've been listening to It's Party Time, my golf story, brought to you by Party Drinks. Classically designed golf drinks for golfers by golfers, and the golf real estate pros Gene Walsh and Vince Fizzicaro. For your Southwest Florida real estate needs, check them out at suncoastdreams.com or call 941-220-4000.
This is Vince Fizzicaro and Gene Walsh with the suncoastdreams.com real estate team at Fine Properties. We've helped hundreds of families find their dream homes in golf and resort communities in Lakewood Ranch, Bradenton, Sarasota, Parrish, Venice, and the surrounding areas.
Let us be your guides to finding your dream home here as well. Learn more at suncoastdreams.com or call us at 941-220-4000.